How is it possible for anyone to say they want to reinstate trust and integrity in our political system and then stand in front of the country and blatantly lie to America during their national convention? How can anyone claim they support life and liberty, then support abortion of thousands of babies each day and completely ignoring the riots and violence in Seattle, Portland, and Chicago caused by Antifa and BLM? Why didn't someone condemn those mayors of those Democrat cities who tolerated this violence? How did they have the nerve to declare that our president put our country in a very dark place after the anarchy they actually encourage? How can these states with rolling brownouts and fire caused by poor forest and water management with misplaced decisions on energy generation and global warming think their party is able to run this country? They shut down all their natural gas and nuclear power plants without knowing how to replace the lost energy generated by them. Then blame it all on man-made global warming hoax. This is a special kind of stupid supported by the Democrat Party. All the attempts at controlling the warming planet, costing trillions of dollars, amounted to nothing, with none of their predictions coming to pass. The pandemic has caused man-made CO2 levels to be lower at any time in the last 50 years, lower than the targets set by the climate change accords. The CO2 levels should have shown some effect on the climate if CO2 was the culprit. But the planet is experiencing hotter, drier, wetter conditions and more powerful storms and hurricanes than when the CO2 levels were considerably higher. This should show their thinking is several bricks short of a load and completely void of any validity. When Michelle Obama says that things will get a lot worse if Trump is elected, sounds like a threat. Does that mean she will encourage more rioting, destruction, looting, and murder if they don't get their way? When they condemn this president for trying to stop this anarchy, they are actually promoting the same tactics Hitler used to blame the Jews that started World War II. Does Biden not realize he is plagiarizing Trump's economic recovery plan? Does he not realize his plan is what Trump is doing already? How can they condemn this president for closing the borders to slow the virus, then accuse that as being racist and discriminatory? How can all the attempts at keeping the elections fair by requiring voter ID and voting in person to keep the election free from interference be called discriminatory and unfair? To criticize this president for delivering a great economic recovery in only 3 years, while Obama, after 8 years, declared the world should prepare for a new normal of high unemployment and slow growth, is completely out of touch and explains why he was such a failure as a president. To have the economy recover after a 25% drop in the market in only 4 months is a sort of a miracle. It normally takes 4 years for such a recovery. Some things must be going right, in spite of all the gloom and doom they declare. All this is happening in spite of the constant investigation of fake Russian investigations, interference, their spying on the Trump campaign, spreading of scandals with no evidence. The irony is this is happening while the deep state is hiding evidence of the same thing. Yet they failed to find anything in their witch hunt. This past week showed how the Democrats are desperate to win in order to cover up their corruption. They want to throw out a current administration's successes and implement an administration that is incompetent, racist, and intellectually void, with bureaucrats who have never worked in the private industry and have a track record of perpetual failure. They can't run a pop stand, much less the United States of America. This is Keith Kuby wishing you the best in making the world a better place.